Page 28, Fidgety Fingers. This is a sight reading exercise. This is where you don't practice it, look it over, and you attempt to play it. Well, let's talk about that a bit, because when you look it over, what are you looking at? Because it's important. Time signature, common time or 4/4 time. Okay, we can deal with that. We've had that before. We got two flats in the key signature, so either it's in B flat major or it's in G minor. Well, if you look at the last measure, you'll see a G and then the discord. That's G minor. I look at the last measure. Usually it does. Some people just look at the first measure, but it doesn't have to start on the key it's in the first measure is the problem. But it usually ends on the key it's in the last measure. So it's G minor. Don't know if that helps you or not, but what's important is there's two flats in the key signature. Then we look it over. You got quarter notes and eighth notes. You see that, and you see the dynamics. It starts out soft, and the second line you got a crescendo, and then it gets loud type thing, and then you just attempt to play it right off the bat. And you start out where your hands are starting in this position, sort of. You got C sharps in here. Look out. So you just fidgety. I don't know how fast fidgety is. You'll have to decide what you think fidgety is. It's just. And then watch out for the rhythm, because it'll get you. 1, 1. That's how I would sight read it, but I've been doing this for a million years. You go slow if you have to get it, but let's talk about it now. I want to just point out a few things, because there's some tricky stuff going on here. We got multiple voices going on. At the beginning, in the right hand, this is simple enough. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. They're nice light wrist staccato, or hand staccato if you call it that. Then don't forget that B flats. And again, second line, here's the voices you got here. You got to hold that down for the rest of the measure as you play these staccatos. So it's 1 and 2 and third measure over, lift up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's the right hand. Left hand starts out here. Simple enough. That's the first line. Second line, we got two voices again. You got to hold the D down for the rest of the measure as you play these staccato notes. Here. And the last measure, staccato, tenuto. Short, long. Hang on to that for a full beat, just a hair longer. Linger on it. And that would be the idea of it. See, phrasing. 1. 1. And you got a crescendo in that, because you started out soft. Maybe medium soft. And in here, medium loud. Now loud. Don't get loud to the third measure. And then you finish loud. And that's the idea of where it goes. It's just how close can you come to that when you sit down and play it for the first time without any practice at all. Now once you played it through, then it kind of blows the sight reading thing, because now you've already read it once. So you really, in a sight reading, you get like one chance to sight read it. After that, it's not sight reading anymore. But sight reading or not, I think it's extremely important that you still go back and you look at all these little things to make sure you got everything. Don't overlook something. Now there is one little thing about music I want to point out, because it's confusing in some cases. Second line on the first two measures. You got stems going up for this part, and then stems going down for this part. In the next measure, same thing. Stems up, stems down. Well, in some cases, that indicates different hands. Where the stems going up would be one hand, and the stems going down would be the other. So it would be that. And then here. So you have to be careful, because is it just indicating voicing, as this is, Or is it trying to tell you which hands they think should play the parts? Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out. You have to experiment. If you don't mind moving your hands around, you can use different hands. Now you're moving around. Now I think it's better, especially since we did the thing right above it, of playing multiple voices in the same hand. So there. If I can hit the notes, it'd help. But so I encourage you to go ahead and use the right hand for the first measure of the second line and the left hand for the second measure of the second line. I would like to do this slowly so we double check the notes and the rhythms and not doing dynamics. So I'll give us 4 counts and let's just play through it slowly together. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. Now I would like to do the duet at the bottom. I'm going to play that, you play this, but I'm going to speed this up. So be ready to go. I'm going to go about 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, like so. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's try this together. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, rest.